Hari Om. Welcome all of you to this lecture of Yoga Nidra. As the name suggests, it is a yogic process. And Nidra means sleep. So you can translate as yogic sleep. Actually, it is not sleep, but the translation is yogic sleep. So it is nearer to sleep, definitely. And it is a very simple process. If somebody asks me, what is the most simple practice in yoga? The answer is Yoga Nidra. But normally the simple practices are not effective. And effective practices are not simple. But I would like to say that Yoga Nidra, being most simple practice, is very effective. And that is what I am going to explain. Yoga Nidra is a yogic process, is a meditative technique, we can say. But it is not explained in any yogic text. Of course, ancient text. Not even Bhagavad Gita, not even Patanjali Yoga Sutra, or not even Hatha Yoga also. Yoga Nidra is not explained anywhere. In modern books, it is explained in many places. But from where it came, no? Because nowadays it has become very popular. Not in India, but outside India also. Normally, the most of the yogic practitioners, they know something about Yoga Nidra. And most of them have already practicing or practiced Yoga Nidra. So this Yoga Nidra is developed, or I can say invented, by my yoga guru, Paramahamsa Swami Satyananda Saraswati. He has written a book also on that Yoga Nidra, and from which I am also explaining the details to you. But basically first I will explain what is this process. Some of you have practiced it, but some of you might not have practiced it. It is a guided relaxation, we can say. It is a pre-recorded commentary, and for 30 minutes. Its timing is fixed. The recording may change a little bit depending on the requirements. So the practitioner has to lie down in Shavasana. Shavasana, all of you may know. And the commentary starts. And the commentary, the instructions are given for the mental actions. There is no physical action. Practicing Shavasana or taking the stage of Shavasana is physical. But afterwards, all the instructions are there for the mind. So all the actions are mental. And the physical action of Shavasana continues for 30 minutes. So the practitioner may think that it is a 30-minute Shavasana, extended Shavasana. Because normally Shavasana is practiced in yoga class maybe for 1 or 2 or 3 minutes. But here we have to practice Shavasana for 30 minutes. Definitely the enjoyable thing is there. Comfortable thing is there. Of course, during that period, the practitioner has to listen the commentary. But listening also is the simplest process. Eyes are closed, ears are already open. So whatever commentary is there on ears, you just listen and follow mentally. In this commentary, the starting point is Shavasana. Some instructions are given for attaining the proper stage of Shavasana. Then the practitioner is asked to listen to some sounds. Sounds away from the place, sounds outside the hall, sounds inside the room, and finally the sound of the commentary only. And this commentary continues, of course. Then it is instructed to make some resolve. That is very important point. Because this Yoga Nidra is designed to attain some target. of course in mental condition, mental status. I will explain this in details afterward. But that target is to be finalized in the beginning, and that target is to be remembered in the beginning of Yoga Nidra, twice or thrice. Then there is a perfect relaxation. It is a rotation of awareness. That means the practitioner has to concentrate on each and every organ, starting from the right hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, small finger, in right side, right leg, something like that. Those instructions are there recorded in that. So the full body is totally relaxed with the help of mind. We may call this stage as Prayatna Shaithilya, as explained by Patanjali in Sutra of Asanas. It is relaxation with efforts. So these are the efforts done by our mind as per the instructions, and total body is relaxed. This is a basic need, we can say. And then there is a breath awareness, that one has to concentrate on the breath. When the body is relaxed, the breath is very, very slow. So we have to concentrate more and more to be aware of the breath. And breath is asked to count the breath. You have to count the breath in the reverse sequence from 27 to 1. All these instructions are there, but I am explaining this process for those who have not practiced. After that, there is a stage of opposite sensations. There is instruction is that your body is becoming hot, your body is becoming cold, the body is becoming heavy, body is becoming light. Some detailed instructions are there. So one has to experience these opposite sensations, mentally of course. But the position of the mind is such that the practitioner really experiences this heaviness, lightness, heat or cold. Then comes the stage of visualization. That is the most important stage in Yoga Nidra. In these commentaries, our expected changes in our mental status. We'll come to that in detail. After that commentary, again the practitioner has to remember the resolve which is done in the beginning. And then of course the smooth end of the practice is there. So likewise all these instructions are pre-recorded. So practitioner has to do nothing, just listen. So this is how the Yoga Nidra is practiced. Now as the word Nidra is there, Nidra is sleep. But in Yoga Nidra, practitioner is not expected to sleep. Practitioner is expected to remain awake. But awakening stage also is on the border. So I can say, in Yoga Nidra, the mental status is on the borderline of awakening state and sleep state. That means awakened state is over and sleep state is yet to start. Very critical state. We normally experience this state every day, because every day we go from awakened state to sleep state to awakened state. This transition is continuously going on when we sleep. But we don't notice that, because it is fraction of a second. But in the Yoga Nidra, the commentary designed by Swamiji is such that the practitioner's mind remain on the borderline maybe for 15-20 minutes, not fraction of a second. That is the speciality of Yoga Nidra. And now in this particular state, we have to carry out some functions, and those are connected with subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is all storage of our memories. So we can make some changes, modifications, addition, deletion in our memory. And that needs, in some cases, normal memory we can't change and we need not change also. But when we experience that certain cases the memory is disturbing our life, and we cannot do anything for that. Because in normal routine, we cannot change any our memories. We can't modify it, we can't do any changes there, which are required to be done in particular case. I'll be explaining some cases, then it will be more clear. So that case Yoga Nidra is very effective. Now, how Yoga Nidra is invented by Swamiji, that incidence is very important, and that is mentioned by Swamiji in his book only. I am explaining from that book only. Swamiji has founded Yoga Ashram, Bihar School of Yoga, in 1964. So he became a head of the institute and he started teaching yogic practices, delivering lectures and all. So many sannyasis also. They are there. The ashram is still there. Now the Swami Niranjananda Saraswati is looking after all that. So in that ashram, so many students were coming for learning yoga and all. It was full. Swamiji has developed a lot of knowledge. It is called Satyananda Yoga. And this has been spread not only in India but throughout the world in many countries. So the ashram, Bihar School of Yoga, is a base of all that. So he has recently started the ashram and the people started coming to the ashram for learning yoga. Swamiji has become a great person in yoga. So when boy was brought by parents in the ashram, the parents offered that boy to Swamiji. As if we are offering some garland or some sweets, they offered the boy only. And they told that you take this boy. Swamiji said, what I do with him? He's a 4 years old only. He cannot learn yoga and all that. Then he'll become maybe 8, 9, 10 years, then you can bring him, then I can teach him. The parents said that he's very notorious. He's not going to school, not studying at all, but disturbing everybody throughout the day. And everybody is complaining about it. And he can't listen to us also. So you teach him some yoga. You are a great saint or yogi. So you can teach him, make him a clever boy. Swamiji initially refused to accept. But afterward he said, okay, keep him with me. I will try to teach him. But there is one more condition. I will teach him, he can become an intelligent and clever boy and all that. But in that condition, I am not going to return it to you. He will be permanently with me. If you agree, keep him here, otherwise take him back. And the parents agreed. That is a fact, mentioned by Swamiji in his book only. And the boy started staying in the ashram. But his nature has not changed. He was disturbing all yoga students and sannyasis, and everybody started complaining about him. Swamiji also is disgusted with him. What to do? He is not able to learn also. Then Swamiji has tried one different experiment in education system, we can say. Swamiji has started him teaching when he is fast asleep. Because when he is awake, he is not ready to listen anybody. But when he is fast asleep, yes, he can listen. So just imagine the boy sleeping, fast asleep, and Swamiji is teaching him 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, as if he is awake. So Swamiji was chanting shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, explaining the meaning, as if he is teaching that boy. Maybe for half an hour, every day. About 15 days, the miracle took place. And after that, the boy started listening in awakened state also, all these teachings. And Swamiji has taught him like this, everything about yoga. So he came in the ashram at age of 4. Swamiji has taught him total yoga, we can say, within 6 years. So when he became 10 years old, he started teaching yoga and delivering lectures on yoga. So at the age of 10, Swamiji took him in foreign countries along with him. Australia, UK, USA, and all that. And the boy started delivering lectures and conducting yoga classes at the age of 10. This is a fact. So Swamiji kept him in foreign countries only because Swamiji was having so many ashramas in different countries. So he told him to look after the ashramas. And Swamiji came to India. So this boy, now we can't say boy, he became a great Swami. His name is Paramahansa Niranjanananda Saraswati. He is my guru also. He has given me Rishi Sannyasa Diksha also. At present he is in charge. Because at the age of 21, after 11 years, Swamiji called him in India and handed over the total charge of Bihar School of Yoga. And he became in charge. Now at present also he is in charge of all these activities. Swamiji has passed away, but Niranjanananda Saraswati is here. I don't want to go in history of Niranjanananda Saraswati. But this is the fact. So this is how the Yoga Nidra works. That is what I mean to say. So this is the first experiment of Yoga Nidra, we can say. Now as I was telling that Yoga Nidra is on the borderline of awakened state and sleep state. So our mind, because awakened state, sleep states are the states of our mind. Body is same in both the states. Heart is functioning, respiration is going on, digestion is continued in both the stages. But mind has got different functioning. So Yoga Nidra is a state of mind on the borderline. Awakened state is over and sleep state is yet to start. You can imagine this condition now. And please remember this. I'll use this technique afterwards. To go further, because I want to explain how Yoga Nidra is psychotherapy. I want to just remind, most of you have been knowing all these things, but still I want to remind that mind has functions on three levels: conscious mind, subconscious mind and unconscious mind. Conscious mind is connecting to our external world through the sense organs: eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. That means we receive the information from the sense organs. This information is passed over to conscious mind forwards it to the brain. Of course, thinking also is a work of conscious mind only. And the subconscious mind, which is very important for Yoga Nidra, is the storage of all memories. This birth's memory we remember, but actually subconscious mind stores the memories of the previous births also. And I can say that subconscious mind is just like the hard disk of the computer. We prepare a file and we store it on the hard disk, maybe in a particular folder and particular drive and all that. Similarly, we experience through the sense organs, and that experiences are stored in subconscious mind in a very systematic way, different folders and all that. So subconscious mind have a number of folders, and all the experiences which we have experienced during our past life, they are stored there. Unconscious mind, we can say it is the real self or Atman, which is not much connected with Yoga Nidra, so I don't want to go in detail of that. So Yoga Nidra is connected with conscious mind, brain and subconscious mind. Now let me explain the normal function. See, we experiences or collect the information through eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. This information is converted to nerve impulse. Then this information is going to the conscious mind, and conscious mind decides whether to forward it to brain or not. Normally it forwards it to the brain in awakened condition. And in sleep condition, conscious mind doesn't forward any message to brain. There is a difference between awakened state and sleep state. Because sleep state, we are also getting information. Maybe ears, nose, skin, we are getting the information. But that is not forwarded to brain. It is stopped at the level of conscious mind. That is main function of conscious mind. And when the information reaches to the brain has to interpret the information. But for interpretation, brain gets the assistance of subconscious mind, because we have got a lot of memories in subconscious mind. So brain interacts with subconscious mind get the information from subconscious mind and then interprets, and the information is converted to knowledge. It took a long time for me to explain, but it happens within fraction of a second. And the memories stored in subconscious mind, they stimulate brain to function. I'll explain with a very interesting example. You see, we have got ashram near Trambakeshwar. About 25 acres of land is there, and we always conduct so many yoga classes in that ashram. But ashram is built recently, maybe about 20 years back. So there are so many snakes and cobras and all this, they are still there. Of course, we don't kill them. We catch them and then leave them in some jungles. So we always instruct, when the students come to stay in the ashram, we tell them that there are snakes and cobras and you have to take care of, be careful. Now just imagine, as a new student, he has been instructed like this. When he is walking in the ashram, he comes across with a cobra. So cobra is approaching him and he is also walking toward that. So definitely the cobra also raises his hood. Now the person, the student, sees the cobra with the hood and all that, with the eyes. But eyes doesn't tell that this is cobra. Eyes take a picture and forward the picture. The picture goes to conscious mind forwards to the brain. Brain also doesn't understand anything about this. Only he has got only a picture of cobra. Then brain forward this information to subconscious mind and ask. We don't know what the language is, but the result is there. He asks about, do you have some information about this picture? The subconscious mind has got some information because that student has seen cobra previously, read something about cobra, heard also something about that. It is very poisonous, he can bite, and that bite is maybe dangerous to the life. So all this information is stored in his mind. So this folder named cobra is forwarded from subconscious mind to brain. Then brain goes through the folder. And then brain understands, oh, this is cobra. This picture is cobra. This is poisonous. It can bite. And then brain imagines that I am also approaching to him. He is approaching to me. It's quite possible that he can bite me. And there will be danger to my life also. And when this information is confirmed, we can say information is converted to knowledge. Then there is a fight or flight response, which you know very well. The student becomes very afraid of it. So he develops the fear because of his memory. Just remember. Now just imagine that the student has got one small child, maybe 4 years, 5 years child, along with him. When the student sees cobra, the child also sees cobra. Same picture. The same picture is forwarded in that child's mind, from conscious mind to brain, brain forwards it to subconscious mind. But in his subconscious mind, there is no folder of cobra. He never seen cobra, never heard anything. So he has no folder, no information about cobra. So his subconscious mind will say, I don't have any information about this. So then brain will decide, there is no information. So brain will develop the curiosity. What is this? I don't know anything about that. So what is the reaction of the child? Curiosity, not fear. Even being 4 years old is having no fear. A student may be 30, 40 years, but he has got a fear. Because he has got the folder and the child has no folder. Now in such cases, we told the students to give a call to our volunteers about the cobra. Then the students call volunteer. Volunteer comes with very happy mood. Oh, where is cobra? Where is cobra? He becomes very happy because he knows how to catch it. Because that volunteer's eyes also see the same picture. Picture is forwarded to the brain, brain forward to subconscious mind. But in volunteer's subconscious mind, there is a big folder of cobra. The information is there that is poisonous and it bites and all that. But in addition, the information is there that yes, he can catch the cobra. He had got some instruments. He might have caught many cobras previously. So he got a full information about that, how to catch and all that. That is why he doesn't have any fear. He doesn't have any curiosity. Because information is there. But he is very happy to catch. So his reaction is totally different. And suppose one person comes there, he is an expert in Ayurveda. The same process takes place. He also sees the same picture. It goes to brain, then forward to subconscious mind. But in his subconscious mind, there is a folder of cobra, but some additional information is there. Cobra is poisonous, but this poison is very important. There are some medicines can be prepared out of this poison in Ayurveda, and that is very costly. So that Ayurveda expert will think that, oh, can we get poison of this cobra? Then we can make some medicines and we can earn a lot of money. Now, you understood all this. All these four, everybody's reaction is different. Student has developed fear. Child has developed curiosity. Volunteer has developed happiness. And Ayurveda expert is very happy to get money out of it. So different reactions are there for the same action. And that is what I mean to say, that these reactions are because of the memory stored in subconscious mind. So this memory stored in subconscious mind is responsible for all these different reactions. And this is same for each and everything in our life. So this is normal functioning. Now what happens in Yoga Nidra? That is because of the commentary. I will come to that afterwards. Because in Yoga Nidra, the practitioner is listening commentary. So ears are open. So he is listening the commentary that is received by the conscious mind. But now the stage is on the borderline, as I explained you. From the beginning part of this Yoga Nidra, the mind is kept on borderline for a longer time. But during borderline, when the awakened state is over, the communication between conscious mind and brain is stopped. And then the conscious mind is diverted to subconscious mind in Yoga Nidra. That means I want to say that in Yoga Nidra stage, particularly after the half Yoga Nidra, when we start opposite sensations and visualization, then brain is bypassed. And the whole commentary is diverted to subconscious mind. And then we can make some changes in that memories. This is only possible when we bypass the brain. And for bypassing the brain, the commentary designed by Swamiji is very important. So this is the basic concept of Yoga Nidra, that bypassing the brain, we can make some changes in our subconscious mind and in our memories. Now, as I told you, memories are very important because our whole life depends on memory only. Our every reaction depends on memory. So memory is essential, important. And we know the patients who lose the memory. Very dangerous life. They can't survive also properly because there is no memory. So memory is important, no doubt. But sometimes the memory can disturb our life. And in that case, we need to change the memory or a little bit modify. We can't change totally, but at least something we can change, something we can modify to avoid the discomfort created by the memory. And that is done by Yoga Nidra. So I am to give one more interesting example which has actually happened maybe about 5-6 years back. In Nasik, we are running yoga therapy center. So patients are admitted there and we give the yoga therapy and some naturopathic treatment also. So my name is famous there. So there was one phone call from one of my teacher. He says that his friend has got with some accident and his left foot was amputated. So he needs your help, some yogic treatment. I told him, for accidental case, yoga cannot help anything. And he said, no, you please meet him. So I had been to his house because he cannot come. He was just lying on bed because his left foot was amputated and the artificial foot was not fitted. So I met him. He was a factory manager. Normally he drives in the car, but one day he was walking on the road near our central bus stand. And that one road was very, very crowded road. It was his bad luck. His left foot was crushed under the bus tires. Of course, after that, there was severe pain because left foot was totally crushed. People took him to the hospital, gave him the anesthesia, and his surgery was done. It was crushed to that extent that whole left foot was amputated. And of course, then he was discharged from the hospital and he was staying at home. Then his wound will be healed. Then his artificial foot would have been fixed and then he would be able to walk. That was the situation. So I told him, in this situation, yoga can't help you. Because you can't do a yoga asana and all that. And not necessary also. He said, no, I got some different problem. What was that problem? He says that medical treatment was there, proper and all that. There is no problem. But I am having severe pain on my left foot, which is amputated. And the pain is so severe that I can't sleep. The last 15 days he has not slept at all. 24 hours he was just getting the pain on his left foot. Actually the left foot was removed. It is not there, but the pain is there. This type of pain is called phantom pain in medical terminology. It is there for many cases, particularly when certain organ is amputated. The pain continues to be there on that organ. And there is no painkiller because this is not real pain. This is a phantom pain, imaginary pain. Why this pain is there? That is also there. Because he has experienced the pain during the accident. When his left foot was crushed, the pain started. And it continued maybe for half an hour till he was taken to the hospital and given the treatment. So he has bared severe pain for about half an hour. So that was stored in his mind as a memory. And when he is now just remembering the accident, that pain also is remembered. And he feels real pain. Actually it's phantom, but he feels like real pain. And that was his problem. And he says, do you have some yogic solution for that? Then I remember, yes, we can modify his subconscious mind, memory. Pain is there, so that memory we cannot modify. But the reaction of that pain, that is also there in the memory. That we can modify. That is why I prepared Yoga Nidra for him. It's certain commentary. The basic commentary is given by Swamiji in his book. So mostly it is same, but particularly the resolve and visualization. These components need to change. So for this particular person, some different resolve is there, different visualization is there. So this resolve and visualization contributes maybe 7 to 8 minutes. So remaining 22 minutes commentary remains same. So according to that, I modified the commentary, prepare a CD and given him to him to practice this, because anyway he was lying down in bed only. So he has practiced maybe 7-8 times a day. After 2 days, he called me on phone and he told that he has no pain when he is studying Yoga Nidra. So some improvement is there. I told him to continue. And after 15 days, he told me that now the pain has gone totally. That means the memory is modified totally in 15 days. That pain was there, that is memory. Now there is not there because the foot is already amputated. So there is no question of getting pain. So likewise, we have modified the memory and the pain has stopped. This really happened here. So likewise, there are so many examples. because I am dealing in the same field. So many examples are there. So I had designed number of yoga nidras. Some are individual, that means they have to be for a particular person, like this phantom pain. This yoga nidra cannot be used by other person. But some yoga nidras are common, which is used by many people. For example, we have got a yoga nidra for pregnant woman. Particularly woman in the first pregnancy has got lot of stress because she goes through the information, positive and negative, for pregnancy and delivery. So that creates a lot of stress. That increases blood pressure. And there is no medicine for that blood pressure. So I designed one yoga nidra for pregnant woman. And this become a common. Thousands of pregnant women have practiced this. And they got quite relief. Blood pressure comes down, stress levels reduce, so stress-free pregnancy, easy delivery, and of course good for better mother and child health also. Then I have got a yoga nidra for students, yoga nidra for different patients, diabetes, yoga nidra for diabetic patient, yoga nidra for weight reduction, yoga nidra for heart patients. Some changes in the commentary. But these are very common yoga nidras and they are giving very good results, which I already experienced. And if you consider the present situation of corona, people have got fear of corona. That fear is more dangerous. Corona affected people are very much less as compared. But the corona fear is troubling practically everybody. But why it is there? It is with us a memory only. So we have to modify the memory. If you modify the memory, then this fear will go off. With this intention, I developed the yoga nidra for corona. It is not for corona patients. It is for the persons who have got the fear of corona. You can call it yoga nidra for corona fear only. This 30 minutes commentary. I already prepared previously only. And so many people have practiced it and they have got good relief. Because many people told me that we are not getting proper sleep because of this fear of corona. But with this yoga nidra, we started getting very sound sleep and very, very comfortable. So this corona yoga nidra is also become very popular. It is available also. We are giving free of cost. We can give on mobile phone also, and WhatsApp also we can say. Because I prepared a version to suit to forward with the WhatsApp also. So there is definitely available. Our secretary, Shri Sharad Paragaonkar, is dealing with all these things. So if somebody of you wants this yoga nidra, of course audio commentary for 30 minutes, you can send it on WhatsApp or mail also. Just you have to inform Shri Sharad Paragaonkar. His phone number and email is given at the end of this lecture. So you can just communicate him, you will get it, you can use it, and you can get rid of the fear of yoga nidra, strengthen your mind, improve your immunity. All these things are there because these are mental part. So we can improve the mental strength with this yoga nidra, and that will be definitely useful. So I request you to just have it, practice it, and enjoy. Of course, this is particular situation, but yoga nidra in general is definitely a stress relief yoga nidra. There is one special yoga nidra which is for stress relief, and that has become very, very popular. Thousands of CDs we have already given to the people, and everybody is enjoying. There is no side effect, means bad side effect of yoga nidra. At the most, the person can sleep, that's all. But no bad effect. And it can be practiced by anybody. From maybe 4 years up to 80, 90 years old also. Because I got some yoga nidras for very small children also. Some specifically designed yoga nidras for children. And it can be practiced at any time, there is no specific time. But it is better to fix up certain time in the day. Maybe morning, maybe evening, maybe before going to bed also. Just practice yoga nidra at particular time. So body clock will get managed with that. You get the better results. And there is no need to learn Yoga Nidra. Otherwise, every yogic practice one should learn from an expert. Yoga Nidra you need not learn from somebody. Just get the commentary and every instructions are given in the commentary and you follow it. So that is how it is very useful practice. It works at psychotherapy also. Sometimes it is specific Yoga Nidra or the general Yoga Nidras that can be used. So definitely I expect that you can make use of all this yogic technique, which is the most simple and easily available technique. And at the end, I would like to thank the Pune University authorities for giving me a chance to explain all these things and communicate to you. Hari Om.